Hey, welcome back to my channel Duct Tape Mechanic and to another episode of my series Free on Facebook, which is a series of videos in which I find things for free, mostly off of Facebook Marketplace, and I show you how to repair them, repurpose them, or reuse them in another manner. In this video, I'm going to show you the top 5 reasons why your Maytag, Kenmore, or Whirlpool top-load washing machine is not spinning. So if you find this video to be helpful, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more DIY and tinkering videos, and to help me to get to 100,000 subscribers. Here is the washing machine in question. This particular one is a Maytag Centennial to be exact, but this video is going to be applicable to pretty much any sort of washing machine that has these 6 LED lights followed by this pause play button. So whether it's a Maytag, Kenmore, Whirlpool, Amana, Admiral, these are all the same washing machines that are all made by Whirlpool, pretty much just branded differently for different stores. So in this video, I'm going to cover the top 5 reasons why your washing machine is not spinning. I've repaired a lot of these machines, and I've come up with these top 5 most common reasons. As I cover each reason why it's not spinning, I'm also going to post the corresponding part, and it'll pop up beneath or underneath the video, so you can just click on that link or that pop-up window, and it'll take you to where you can purchase the part. That way you don't have to worry about purchasing the wrong part, because believe it or not, some of the most questions I get are, what's the part number, or where do I purchase this? So I'm going to try to resolve that issue in this video and in future videos. But let's get to it. So the first thing you want to do, if you notice your washing machine's not spinning, your clothes are going to be damp. So we're going to unplug it from the wall and disconnect it from the water lines and set it on its back. All right, so with the machine on its back, it gives us a good opportunity to observe its guts. On some of the models, there may be a large foam pad that you can just pull right out, but most of them you just see everything when you put it on its back. So the first most common reason why your machine's not spinning is because you have a broken belt or the belt has slipped off. So what we need to do in order to examine that is first remove the belt cover. It's just held in by 2 5/8" screws, one on the top and one on the bottom. In this case, you can see the belt is intact, so this is a good belt, but it's never a good idea just to peel it right off and inspect it for cracks. The belts are pretty much all the same for all of these models, so this will be coming up at the bottom of the screen. So if you find that your belt is too loose or it keeps slipping off or it's broken, then just go ahead and order that from this part because they're all the same part number. All right, so that's the belt. All right, so after you've determined that the belt is okay, the second leading cause of your washing machine not spinning is the shift actuator. So this is what shifts it from agitation to spin and from spin to agitate. So when this breaks, the machine can stop spinning. And it can either break mechanically, or the RPM sensor, or aka the sensor that detects how fast it's spinning, that can also give out. So if you notice the belt is broken, if not is intact, the second thing you probably should look at is the shift actuator. And I'll show you how to remove that next. There's one screw on the top and another green screw on the bottom. So I'll just remove the bottom one first. Like so. And then undo the electrical connector. And that's the shift actuator right there. So basically, they make 2 types of shift actuators. A red one and a black one. And I'm going to link both of them. So the red one should pop up first, then the black one. Most of the newer models will have this black one, but this is not all that uncommon either. But basically, these fail in two ways. The first way is mechanical failure, where this arm will be, as you can see, this is nice and tight. But if it has failed mechanically, you'll be able to move this arm all the way down just by pushing on it. So right now, if I push on it, it really doesn't move down. But if it's mechanically broken, the gears in here sometimes break. But that will cause you to have spin issues. And then the second reason, the second failure point on these is this RPM sensor, which is a little bit harder to diagnose. The best thing to do is go into diagnostics mode, which I have a video on. But like I said, if you notice the belt is good, I would go ahead and just replace this part. It's like 25 bucks at the maximum. But you can also continue watching the rest of the video and eliminate all the other parts as well. So, because the RPM sensor, if you don't want to go into diagnostic mode, is a little bit difficult to troubleshoot. But yeah, so the second most common reason is the shift actuator. Alright, so with the belt removed and the shifter removed, if you determine that both of those two are good, or they appear to be good, or if you're trying to eliminate some of those issues, the belt's easy to eliminate, but the shifter can be a little bit harder. The third reason could be the clutch is bad. So one test for the clutch is, after you remove the shifter, is to move the clutch mechanically down and up, and it should just move freely. Oftentimes I should say that these will get jammed up and they won't move freely. But in this case, as you can see, when I move it up, it engages the transmission pulley right here, and when I put it down, it disengages it. So that's how it shifts from agitate to spin. So here, right here, it's a nice smooth movement, and so that is the biggest test for a clutch, is to see if it'll move up and down smoothly. And then the second test for the clutch being bad is if it's making a loud grinding noise, like when it's agitating, you've got a bad clutch and it's causing this gear to slip. And all you have to do is use a 1/8 inch socket or a nut driver to remove this pulley. Then that will allow you to get access to the clutch, which you can easily remove by just pressing these tabs all the way around and pulling it out, then just pushing the new clutch back on. It's really easy. So you can see this is how smoothly it should work. So this is a very common issue, a bad clutch. Alright, so after that, the fourth most common reason why your top load washer is not spinning is a bad motor capacitor. I left the transmission pulley off here just to show you what the motor capacitor looks like. And sometimes this is just held in by a clip, or you just gotta rotate it counterclockwise to get it off. In this case, it's held in by a nut here. So you guys just unplug it here. I must say, when you're handling the motor capacitor, you do want to take precautions, because this is it's charged, so you don't want that to discharge and give you a shock. So in this case, it's just held in by a 5/8 inch screw right here, which I'm going to take off. And once you remove the motor capacitor, you just want to inspect it. Well, I should say, once you remove it, you can discharge it by shorting it together like so. And that way, if you accidentally touch the terminals, you won't get shocked. But after you've done that, you want to inspect it for any sort of physical damage. If it's oozing, or if it's got a dent, or if it's got a bulge, that means it's bad. After you've done that, you can take a look at what the capacitance is. In this case, it's a 50 microfarad capacitor, and you can measure using a multimeter to see if this is within the tolerance. So this is a 50 microfarad capacitor, and it's got a 10% leniency or tolerance, so it could be pretty much between 45 and 55 microfarads, and it would still be considered a good capacitor. Microfarads is just the ability of this capacitor to store charge. I'm going to do a real brief demonstration on how to measure that next. Alright, so to measure the microfarads, I'm going to set the multimeter right here to capacitance, so right there, and we're just going to measure the microfarads on this capacitor, or the capacitance of this capacitor, I should say. Hopefully that can show you right there. All right, so we're just gonna put the multimeter onto the probes right here and wait. So we're getting a capacitance of 49 microfarads. So that shows us that this is within the tolerance, because this is a 50 microfarad capacitor and with a 10% tolerance, so anywhere between 45 to 55. So yes, that's reason number 4, which is a bad motor capacitor. Alright, so the last and final reason why your washing machine is not spinning is due to a bad motor. Now, to test this electronically is a little bit more complex, but once you've eliminated all of these other reasons, then you could come to the motor. And another quick test you could do is to see how free the motor drive shaft is. So if you try to rotate this by hand and it's really difficult, that gives you an indication that the bearings could have burned out back there. But other than that, one of the best ways to just go through this is to get to the process of elimination. But I do like to give this a spin to see if it's making loud bearing noises or if it's completely seized up. But honestly, having a bad motor is not that common. I've only had to replace a couple of these in the few years I've been replacing or working on these machines. So I would come to this process last. But to remove that, and if you do determine that the shaft is not spinning or if it's making a really loud noise, then all you have to do is undo this electrical connector. There's a bolt up here, I believe it's a 1/2 inch. Then there's also a bolt down here, and this whole unit should come off. And that's it. All right, so that's the top 5 reasons why your Maytag, Kenmore, or Whirlpool washing machine is not spinning. So you got the belt, the shifter, the clutch, the motor capacitor, and the motor itself. So if you found this video to be helpful, make sure you hit the thumbs up sign and don't forget to subscribe.